What's something that people think is normal, but was actually child abuse? As recently as the 1990s, a lot of British primary schools would make kids poop in their underwear if they forgot their gym kit. As most people remembered their kit, this usually singled out those who forgot. I hated this as a kid. One lesson. Another pupil forgot her kit and the teacher made her do it in just her knickers, because it was summer and she wasn't wearing a vest. It was such a weird day. No one made fun of her because we all were terrified that it could happen to us. That poor girl. I would be enraged if I was her parent. If an adult made my daughter strip down to her underwear and engage in physical activity, I would not be able to make responsible decisions about handling it. I thought it was totally normal to have my ankles handcuffed as punishment for being suspended as a kid until I told someone about it and got a very concerned "what the fuck?" as a response. Guess not. Pretty sure if I told someone about it back then, CPS would have kicked the door in. My mum once handcuffed me and my sister together for a day because we were fighting too much. She would unhook them for bathroom breaks. But the second that was done, she hooked up back up. I never wanted to punch my sister more than that day. I thought about asking to go upstairs with me just so I could throw us both back down them. My dad used to grab me by the hair when I didn't listen. There was a time or two I was lifted off the ground or dragged up the stairs by my hair. Ouch. My mother got mad at me for some reason, I cannot remember. I may have even deserved it. I was halfway up the stairs with a friend when the argument started, when she picked up a rolled up rug, like a large full room kind, 50 pounds, and hurled it like a missile at me and my friend. We dodged, and she took that as an insult. I used the friend as an excuse to walk them home and just dipped out for the rest of the day until she calmed down. If I did not have a friend around, I would have got an ass beating. Once I did something, I don't remember what, and my mum was furious with me. She was cooking at the time, so she took the spatula, made of steel and soaked in hot oil, and pushed it right under my right eye. I was 7-8 at the time. We are on great terms these days, but I haven't really forgiven her for that. Parents who pick on their kids and ruin their self-esteem under the guise of tough love. Seriously. But it never stops. My dad still does that to me even though I'm a grown man. Last thing was that he's teasing me with balding jokes to build up my confidence for when people make fun out of me. Nobody ever said something about my balding hair. Is there something like CPS for adults? Lol. Are you part of my in-laws' family? They use the exact same excuse, it'll give you tough skin for others. I don't think they realize they are the others. I don't need tough skin for others, I need tough skin for you, you bunch of cunts. What? I wet the bed to a relatively old age, maybe about 9, and instead of talking to my pediatrician about it, my parents told me that if I did it again, they would hang my soiled underpants and sheets up outside and embarrass me in front of the whole neighborhood. This, obviously, didn't help my medical issue, and I just learned to hide it from them until I, thankfully, grew out of it on my own. They also threatened to expose my parental abuse and show everyone how I, an elementary-aged kid, really acted and turn everyone against me. The parental abuse thing was a favorite for my mum especially. My mom loves to talk about how I'm so lucky she didn't kick me out at 17. Yes mom, because kicking your minor child out of the house is going to make the neighbors think you're a saint. My mom always says, he thinks, says I'm mean to my other family members and her friends. She always takes her stress and frustrations out on me by almost yelling over little shit. It's always something new and she's never satisfied. Ignoring a child. As a child I wasn't allowed to speak unless spoken to. I was a latchkey kid from the age of 10, so home alone for hours. I had to do homework, laundry, then cook dinner, set the table, wash dishes after. No one asked me about my day or how I was feeling ever. I just had to follow instructions, and sit quietly. I cried myself to sleep every night. I'm really sorry you went through that much isolation in those years. I hope you are doing better these days. Hugs. Smoking near children. My grandparents would hotbox us because it was too cold to open a window. The fact that I have asthma does not make it better. My parents did that too. My brother and I kept complaining about the headaches we get, and from age 5 to 12 I had pneumonia every winter because all the windows were closed and we'd be stuck in a house full of smoke. They eventually started smoking in the garage instead of in the house, and I haven't had pneumonia since. Yep. When I was 7, tests confirmed I had allergies and asthma. 2 strongest triggers? Tobacco and cat dander. My mother doesn't understand why I don't sleep in her house when I visit now. Or why I don't visit for more than a couple of hours. I sneeze a few times after mowing the yard and people get concerned now. They don't know the half of it. Found out this was considered abuse years after it happened. When I was 16 and my brother was 17, my mother dragged us to the kitchen for a family meeting, which was just her screaming at the top of her lungs at our dad because he wanted a divorce. She made him cry. As a teenager, being told you have to sit there while the man you respect most is reduced to tears without being allowed to speak up or do anything. It fucks you up. Shit, I'm sorry. I've had experiences like that with my parents, divorce apart, and I know that it sucks. Plus a lot of the yelling was also directed at me for not making my parents happy, I think. It sucks, and I hope you're okay now. In school, being told you're not allowed to go to the toilet until the lesson has finished. Or not being allowed to take a drink of water during a lesson on a hot day. Catholic school? My daughter still asks me for permission to go to the bathroom. She's 12, bothers me so much. I'm glad that school is shut now. I hope she finds her freedom soon. It is surprisingly common for kids to not be allowed to go to the bathroom. Taking the door off a kid's bedroom as punishment. Kids need privacy and their own space, especially as teenagers. That happened to me. And now my mother is confused as to why I don't want to go to her house with my abusive stepfather for Easter. Tell them, explicitly, in great detail, exactly how bad they fucked you up. My mother says she cries herself to sleep because of how I make her feel. I told her, now you know what my childhood felt like. My mom won't even let me have that victory. I'm nearing 30, and she does that thing where she gets all mopey about how she failed as a parent. But she doesn't say it because she is genuinely remorseful. No, it is more as a backhanded insult. I'm like, thanks mom. College degree, never been to jail, no kids I don't know about. You really fucked everything up, you bitch. Edit for context. Honestly, it doesn't bother me to any significant degree. As the atheist son of a Catholic mother, being a disappointment is just part of the process, haha. And the context of the thread makes it seem like she was this horribly abusive mother, when in reality, she was just a very simple, highly religious, single working parent who was okay at some things and not okay at other things. If anything, it is a characteristic to be pitied and learned from. I may not be religious myself, but I am constantly reminded of a sermon I listened to as a child where the priest said, some people merely exist to provide others with a lesson in what not to do.